So hello again everybody, so welcome to this week's meal kit. We've got lots of bright, vibrant colours ready for spring, and let's get started. So in the meal kit, you'll find our brown butter. Make sure you remove this from the fridge half an hour before serving, and also our signature soda bread. Just going to place it into that oven that's set at 180 degrees, and it will take about 5 to 8 minutes. So this week's starter requires no cooking at all. Just make sure you take the tomatoes out of the fridge half an hour before eating, and let's get started. So we have our new territories tomato, local microgreen salad, whipped cod roe, and our green tomato jam, and then we have our lovage oil. So for plating our starter, to get a nice professional presentation, I'm going to use a pastry cutter. So now our starter's ready. Just going to remove my cutter. Our starter this week, new territories tomato with whipped cod roe, green tomato jam and lovage. So for this week's main course, it should be super simple. Let's take a look inside the box. So we have our short rib that's been slowly cooked for 48 hours and our purple sprouts and broccolini. And then we have our polenta cake, bone marrow crumb. So our first step of the main course is to fry the polenta chip, and I would suggest if you don't have a non-stick pan to make sure you use the butter paper provided. So for your polenta, make sure you get your pan nice and hot with plenty of oil and fry each side for at least 5 minutes, get it really nice and crispy. So now our polenta chip is nice and crispy, we're going to place it in the oven at 180 degrees just to make sure it gets nice and hot for about 5 minutes. So while the polenta chip is in the oven, we're going to put our short rib into a pot of boiling water for around 5 minutes. So when the beef is nice and hot, I'm going to remove it from the water pan. I'm going to cut the bag open, and I'm going to pour the contents into a separate pan. So then our last step is blanching the broccoli. To save a little bit of time and energy, just use the same pan of water you use for the beef. So into a pan of boiling water, put the broccoli for no longer than 1 minute. So now we have all our elements nice and hot, we're ready to plate. So that's our main course this week. Slow cooked short rib of beef with our creamed polenta chip, sprouting broccoli and bone marrow crumb. So when you come to Roganic for your special occasion, we always like to treat you to our special cherry cake. And this week we want to bring the celebration to your home. So of course we have our cherry cake, and then we have our Earl Grey chocolate mousse and black cherry gel. And then we have some 80% dark chocolate. And then lastly, we just have some of our edible flour. So for our dessert this week, we have our cherry cake with Earl Grey chocolate mousse and black cherry gel. So that's it for this week's meal kit. Lots of nice, fresh, vibrant colours for going into spring now. Obviously, thank you so much for the continued support. Happy cooking, stay safe, see you next week.